So one that we've recently been talking about with several Massachusetts agencies is exactly to our earlier point, which is how do we bring entrepreneurs here from other parts of the world? And so we haven't yet found the process or the partner that would allow us to bring companies that are small, so 4 people, or open a sales office here in the Commonwealth, maybe within an incubator, to allow them to grow their business. We have lots of interest. We've had 30 countries come through and express interest, many entrepreneurs, but unless you're big enough to generate tax revenues, there's not really a good program to bring those entrepreneurs here. And I think you've heard the frustration in just how hard it is. Someone needs to be helping us to work on that. And so if I had the governor's ear, I'd tell him that's a problem that Massachusetts isn't solving yet. How do we bring the young companies here to grow?
Yeah, and I think that Emily's right. The other thing is, who are the good entrepreneurs to come to Massachusetts? Because you should see the amount of entrepreneurs coming from Spain that they call at my door, like every week. And they want to come because they think the money is falling on the trees. And the moment they land in the US, they're going to become rich. So somebody has to also...
That's good messaging, I just gotta say.
So I think that it's also interesting to teach entrepreneurs and make these bridges so that they understand why you have to come to Massachusetts. So people say, I have a website and I'm going to come to Boston to succeed. And I say, why do you have to come to Boston to do a website? You can do it anywhere in the world. So I think that also selecting, what kind of talent and what for comes to Massachusetts, I think is very important. And it's a diverse economy, so I don't think we have to select, but we have to also help entrepreneurs to understand what do you have to do in the Commonwealth that it's worth, the expense and the effort and the hurdles to come all the way.
Maybe a little bit of a story about the kind of Symbolic. I mentioned we have a kind of a unique funding structure. So the funding source is a company called CNS Wholesale Grocers. So a little bit about CNS. It's their 100th anniversary this year. It was a 100-year-old company founded in Worcester, Massachusetts. And the thing I would tell the governor is don't make it hard for companies to stay in Massachusetts. CNS left Massachusetts when it was a relatively tiny company, and because the business environment was unfriendly. They moved it to New Hampshire, and it now is the largest wholesale grocer in the United States through growth. They created more than 2,000 jobs in New Hampshire for the back office, so these are high-paid jobs that would have probably stayed in Worcester if the government hadn't made it difficult for them to stay.
I think that the government, look at the Mass High Tech Council's mission statement, and it's very interesting. I actually deleted it from my speech, so I can't quote it, but they talk about the role of the government and the role of the private sector, and they say government shouldn't worry about what the private sector should worry about. Government should worry about education and infrastructure and governance and regulation and those sorts of things, and let the private sector take care of its business, like investment and so on and so forth. I think that's important. I don't think we need to be a better place for entrepreneurs, but I do think that there are a lot of infrastructure issues, and I won't go into them. You all know what they are. There are a lot of infrastructure issues, regulation issues, healthcare issues. We all know, we know what they are. That I think if we take care of those, we have such a vibrant private sector, and there's so much good relationship between, and crossovers between the universities, the research institutes, the medical centers, the venture capital firms, the businesses of all sizes and levels and technologies, that we don't have to change that. I think we have to make it easier for them to grow, not to be here.